Hello and welcome to our Getting Results video series. My name is Chris Barker and I am the Project Manager for Results Software. Today's lesson is focused on the tasks related to being a measure owner or a data steward. The first step is after you log in, your pathway would be My Data. You want to get to the measures that you have responsibilities for. So let's go ahead and click on that. And you'll see that under My Data, I own two measures. I'm logged in as a generic admin. You'll see that I own this measure, non-patient related cancellations, but I see another name under the first measure. Okay, Dan owns this measure, but in this one, I am the data steward. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and first click on details because I want to see, is any of my data due? By going to the details screen, I can see that with my two measures, I am actually overdue on both of these. So let's go ahead and get our data in. I can do that by first opening the measure, clicking on the measure's name. Okay, and when I get to this screen, I'm going to go to Edit Values. Edit Values is all about putting the data into the system. Okay, so when I get to this screen, I see that there are three fields that I need to fill out. The first one is the date recorded, and it will automatically follow the pattern from the previous months or quarters, depending on your frequency. So all I need to do is put in the value. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my value, and I'm going to put in my comment. We really encourage comments starting to level off, and I simply hit add. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my data and take a look and make sure that information is there. So I went ahead and put in that starting to level off. I see that my date range doesn't reflect the period that I need. So when I go back to my chart in the large chart view, I can go ahead and adjust that range and verify that all my data is current. By simply adjusting that date range, I see the data that I just put in. So that measure is now complete. Now let's go to the other measure. I'm going to go back to my data by using the top gray area as my back button. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at on-time starts. When I go through that pathway, it takes me right to that data inputting. I actually see that I'm behind on two periods. So this one is related to a cancellation percentage. So I go ahead and put in my value, and I'm going to put my comments in. Proactive, let's see, methods, improved measure. Then I'll also put in that same, it already pre-populates, but I have an updated comment, sustaining improvement, and hit add. Okay. I can go ahead and view my chart and make sure my data is in there. Again, I'm going to adjust the date range by going into that large chart view, hit refresh, and I now see those two data points that I saw. I'm also the measure owner for this particular measure, so I also have the option here to edit the measure. I'm going to go ahead and show you what a measure owner can do. A data steward is not allowed to edit the setup of the measure. So think about edit measure as the setup of the measure in the system. We can scroll down and take a look at the different fields that I am allowed to edit. The measure code, name, calculation, data source. Data source is a really important one, so that if you ever have someone backing you up, where can they find that data? So I might say report 5175 issued on the first of the month. Okay, I can see the frequency, who owns it, who is the data steward, put in the comments, This is where I can set good high. The measure, do we want it to be high, like employee engagement, or low, related to, say, injuries on the job? We have a couple different chart types. I'll go through those different types in a different video on chart types. Okay, if I make any changes, I make sure I save it before I move down to my target and my thresholds. Okay, the target's already set up, as well as the first threshold is already set up. But perhaps I want to set a new target. I might say as of July 1st, I'm going to go ahead and set a new target and hit add. Okay, the benefit of that is that it keeps that historical information. If I truly needed to remove this, I could hit delete. And do the same on the threshold. So on that new date, what will be the new thresholds for this measure? I go ahead and put that in. I could type it in or use the calendar. Okay, and I have two options. I can actually click in the box here, or I can use the slider, for instance. You'll see that in the first threshold, we did not have a yellow band, but perhaps I would like to add that. And I go ahead and hit add. So as of that new effective date, we will have a new set of thresholds as well as new targets. So let's go ahead and go back to my data. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a look. I see that my last date values I put in with my comments. I can take a look at my detail now and show that I am current. Those are your duties as measure owners and data stewards. We will continue to, we appreciate you taking a look and learning more about your duties as measure owner and data steward.